Okay, so I've started with a cube, and I'm gonna, it's a bit of a square shape to start with. So I'm gonna go into edit mode, and does this exist? No. I'm gonna use the modifier subdivision surface. You see that? But this time, instead of keeping it, I'm gonna apply it so that the cube forever becomes this shape with the subdivision and the rounding. It's better to start this way than with a sphere, because the spheres are divided in another way and it's not very useful. Okay, since the drawings don't exactly fit, I'll have to make some decisions as to which drawing I'm following, and I'm gonna follow these two to get started. Alright, so let's get started. I'm gonna add again a subdivision surface, but this time I'm gonna keep it live so that I keep a relatively small mesh. Okay, so let's get started with the tail there. We can use these 4 things. By the way, I'm not starting immediately with a mirror modifier, because for the main body it's simpler to just model all at once. Okay, so as you can see, I'm extruding, scaling, extruding. For the first time, for this initial phase, I'm going roughly. It's always simpler to add detail than to remove them, strangely. Okay, so I did all this with basic, here we are, with basic extrusions and scaling. Okay, so this is already pretty good. We don't have the little bumpy things that's drawn here, but at any moment we can add an edge loop here and scale this for the bumpiness. But for the moment I'm keeping it simple. Okay, so now let's do these little bumps on the head. No, first I'm gonna do the eye. The eye will be started from here. Eye for inset, something like this, and now I'll be using this to shape it better. I'm gonna go back to front mode. I can already roughly shape a bit, something like this. And once again, the drawings don't exactly fit, so I'll have to be creative. I'm selecting in transparency because I want to do things on both sides at the same time. And for that I'm using border select to make sure it's selected on both sides. Alright, so I have my shape for the eye there. Once again, it's not completely the same from one drawing to the other, so I need to decide. Now this I'm going to push within, and to model an eye or something that wraps around something, it's always good to add another object there so that we can model around it. So I'm going to add a sphere that will be the eye. Oops. So it should roughly be there. So that I can see it well and distinguish it, I'm gonna make a new material. I went into the ball here, added a new material and changed the color. So I have a strange shape there. I'm gonna try to fix it. That's because I'm lacking subdivision, so it's moving towards that place. This whole ring there lacks a loop, so I'm gonna add another edge loop here, and this will help me keep things a bit rounder. Okay, I'm gonna go into face mode and select this and this to scale them. I can judge. Okay, I'm not gonna go further because I would need to work in symmetry and it's getting a bit complicated. So I'll just do the little bumps on the head. So am I gonna do that? I'm gonna cut things with K here. It's not exactly the right place, but we'll move that around. Cut this here. And cut this here. So this is making uneven mesh up there. So I could fix this by cutting that. And here it's tricky. Actually, I could finish that edge loop. So I'll do that first, and then finishing it here instead. Okay, so I'm gonna delete the right side. I can hide this to make things simpler. Select all the faces and then add a mirror modifier. Well, I should have extruded first these things here. Let's fix this. So extrude. This is the problem I wanted to avoid by going into a mirror later, but it's not a big problem. Here we go. So we've got that small bump here. Okay, I have to fix this again. Oops. So I need to delete the faces. Select those. Here. This one is the one that is truly not at the right place. So now this shape is a bit wrong here. With K I'm adding a new edge loop so that I can make it rounder. It's not such a big deal if you've got some openings there. We can fix that later. So our eye doesn't look so good. Let's see what we can do. So maybe I can extrude something, a border. Okay, so I think I'll need a new edge loop here. Wow, it added everywhere. So I'm gonna add it manually, selecting all edges I want to connect, W, subdivide, and this here I can deal with maybe later, because I have 5 edges there, so I could connect this to end this, but it's not a problem right now. Okay, select these vertices, so I can make this more round. So you can judge, you can trust your judgment as well. This is too pointy up there. So I think I'm gonna take these faces, maybe do an extrude. What am I gonna do with these? Because we have a, let's do this in 2 times. Here I have one, what do you call that? Paupière. And here, I'm gonna collapse those edges. And I'm gonna do another lid. This is the word I was looking for. Need to erase this. It'll be easier if I don't see. Okay, so the problem is this part here. So the collapse I did is I'm selecting this, and this will meld into this. Edge collapse, edge collapse. This looks pretty good. Or at least it looks okay. Okay, so we've got something going on there. Down here it's not looking so good, so maybe I can pull this up. We can do the little feet there. So where do I get started? Get started probably here. Here it looks pretty good down there, but not so much here. Extrude. I'm using R to rotate freely. Okay, and this here, now I'm truly lacking an edge loop here, so let's add that. And it's making this one go much too big. I'm gonna take these and so we need to fix everything everywhere all the time. Once again, lacking an edge loop here. Where does it start? I don't want to add too many edges in the tail, so this is why I'm having my edge loops end here, and then I can just, if I want to keep things regular, ending them like this. Or actually, I'll keep this one for later. Every time you add an edge loop, the way the curve is resolved changes, so you might have to adjust things. Okay, so let's do our other little egg. Now I have a good polygon there. It seems to be exactly at the right place, which is cool and fortunate. Right. Let's extrude. Okay, here we are. Not too bad. We could make the eye bigger probably, and then fit everything around that. Bigger but a bit more inside. That'll look better. What else? We have some holes there. We can adjust this. One trick is to select the whole edge loop that goes all around. I do this by alt selecting the edge loop. And here we see that it's not completely regular, so scale X, this will make it completely flat. So now I don't have these issues anymore. Okay, so I can adjust the shape here. It's not so round, but you can do that. Right, so let's save this. Save as, plus. I pressed plus, now it's modeling 02. Save Blender file. Okay.